All right, we're live once again. We're going to do a pre-trial at 10 here, hopefully, and then I'm going to do a couple of college arraignments on a couple of people that got arrested over the weekend on bench warrants. Getting back into the swing of being back at work, getting up at 5:30 instead of 7:30. All right, it's 9:57. We'll see who appears on the pretrial. We'll call the jail and request a couple of customers. Several of this morning's cases had settled while I was on vacation. It's possible this one has, but I don't see it. Well, this may be a case where no one shows up. But me. here is plaintiff's attorney. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm going to turn the record on. We're live on YouTube here. We don't have a defendant. It is 10 a.m. You're right on time. This is file 21357GC. It's entitled Asthma Allergy Centers versus Anthony Dudley. Mr. Brian Groen is here for the plaintiff. This is a claim for $1,231.14 for services provided in 2019 by the Asthma Allergy Center. The defendant did file an answer, I don't know, I guess alleging some sort of inducement, saying that there was a grant that he thought was going to be paying for this, and the center called him and said, come in for your shot. He thought it was going to be paid for. He's not here now, this morning. Mr. Groen, what do you know about this one?
I'm looking at, basically the only thing we get, Your Honor, is an invoice, and it shows, it looks like it was a couple treatments, one in August of 19 and another in September 2019. Each procedure was billed out. The actual amount of each procedure is about $3,300. Insurance paid the vast majority for both, and it was just the copay deductible of about $615 or so for each of the treatments, and that's what consists of the amount alleged in our complaint.
The complaint only alleges one date of service, September 12th of 2019.
That was the second of the two service dates. The other one was August the 15th. So I think they just put in the last date of service. I think that's usually what we put in. So the statute limitations time period would run from that date.
I'm sort of stalling around here to see if he logs in. I know you missed driving to Centerville on Monday morning. And,
normally that'd be 1:15 in the afternoon, wouldn't it? At least it seems that's what I remember.
The pre-trials, the Monday morning pre-trials, then we do some 145s. But yeah, your car probably had a lot less miles put on it this last year or two.
It does.
I was talking with a law school classmate, and it said it's really changed the nature of his practice. The Supreme Court Administrator's Office is floating some ideas on what we do going forward. And one of them is these civil hearings will continue to be by Zoom. And there's a lot of dispute about what we should do by Zoom, what we should do in person, and what we should have on YouTube and what we shouldn't. But these kinds of hearings are particularly appropriate for Zoom.
I would think so too.
Well, let's calculate the default amount. We've got $1,231.14.
And I have costs of $55 filing fee, $57.84 service fee, for a total of $112.84 for costs. We won't worry about our attorney $75 statutory fee. We'll waive that. So I have a total judgment of $1,343.98.
I told you about your namesakes. Now here's someone coming in.
What's in there?
That's maybe someone coming in for a sentence. I don't think he's here on this matter. Anyway, your namesakes at Fisher Lake were quite active. Looks like you've been out on vacation also.
I got a little color. We went up to the UP a week ago. So how about you? Have you done anything fun this summer?
Yeah, I just came off a 2-week vacation where I stayed home, and that's summer's just too short.
It does. It is. Before you know it, snow is going to be flying. And
Don't even say that. Don't. All right, we'll go with this. Default judgment, it's now 10:05. What very often happens is the people log in late or something. Mr. Dudley explanation goes south some distance, but he isn't here, so he's subject to default. You can submit the order under the 7-day rule. Let me see if I got one in here.
I don't believe we sent anything in as far as I know.
All right, well, you can go back to your morning as opposed to driving 90 minutes down here and turn around and driving 90 minutes back. That took us 6 minutes. All right, I'll see you in the virtual world.
It's always a pleasure to see you in person, but I like this as well. So
yes. All right, good luck, sir.
Thank you. Until next time.
Okay, thanks. All right, we'll do our polycoms now. Good morning, Deputy Mooney. How's everything out there?
It's good. We're thinking at work.
Can I see 2 customers, Storm Schwartz and Gunnar Clark?
And we've got one down with passing right now. Do you want me to call them down? Now?
Passing. Yeah, I was gonna try to do them for my 10:30 sentence.
Okay, I can probably set them up in a different room.
That'd be fine.
Alrighty.
All right, thanks.
Thanks,
Okay, bye. And they're always very accommodating at the jail. The staff does a great job out there. But again, once upon a time, in the non-virtual world, non-Polycom world, they had to put all these defendants in a car and drive them over here to the jail or from the jail into the courthouse and bring them into the security garage, which wasn't all that secure, and bring them into the courtroom. With the advent of Polycom and then Zoom, we do almost all of our bench warrant arraignments remotely. Good morning.
Good morning. You're having technical difficulties.
Well, live is okay. I'm waiting for the jail to bring in a couple of people that I can do right now.
I hope we're in the right courtroom. Mr. Crummell?
Yes, you're in the right spot. Mr. Bush probably will be logging in. And so he'll be up here on the screen. Mr. Crummell, if you have a seat over here.
Do I have to log in too? I mean,
No, you're just here, so that's fine. We are slowly returning to court, where people come in, and my entire career, 40 years worth, we did everything in this room, in the circuit court room.
Right.
With the advent of COVID about a year and a half ago, we started doing everything remotely by Zoom.
Right.
Everything.
Yeah.
But jury trials. And now we're returning to some in-person cases. So although the way the COVID virus is mutating, I'm not sure we're going to get out of this unscathed or not.
All right, over on that side.
No, you're fine right
Is
there.
it okay here? Okay, I'm sorry.
We're not ready for your case yet.
Morning, sir.
What do you want first?
Good morning. Let's start with Mr. Swartz,
All right.
or Mr. Ledbetter, if you have him.
What was that?
Just kidding. It's an inside joke
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
that nobody gets but Keith.
I want to know.
You want to know? All right.
Yeah.
Huddy Ledbetter is Leadbelly's real name. And I guess that's all you need to know for now. Good morning, Mr.
right.
Schwartz.
Good
This
morning.
is
How
Judge
are you
Middleton. I'm okay. First day back from vacation. In the meantime, you got yourself picked up on a bench warrant for failing to appear. This is file 21883ST. You're charged with no valid operator's license, which is not all that serious of a charge. You had attorney Tim George appointed to represent you, and they set it for a pretrial with an attorney. And you missed your attorney pretrial. We did a 48-hour hold warrant, tried to get a hold of you, and couldn't. And you got picked up on a bench warrant this weekend. So let me ask you a couple of questions. How did you get arrested?
I was at Dollar General. There was a situation going down.
In what town?
Three Rivers.
Okay.
And I wasn't leaving a friend inside the store when they locked it, so I stayed, and I knew the chances I was taking was coming to jail. That's what I was willing to do that. It was only.
Well, did you know there was a warrant for you for failing to appear?
Yeah, I was gonna turn myself in actually Saturday, but nobody would give me a ride up to the jail. I actually started. I got about a quarter away from Three Rivers, and I was like, no, I'm just gonna turn back around. I'm gonna head back to Three Rivers.
Where are you staying right now?
I'm staying in Athens, but me and my uncle got into it, and I've been staying away from him. And the other reason why I didn't make it to court is because I didn't have my phone. It was in Bronson for a month, and yeah, it may sound like I'm lying, but I'm really not. My phone was in Bronson for about a month, and
Bronson Hospital?
no, over at Bronson where my sister was staying. That's you said I wasn't allowed to drive, so I haven't been driving.
Well, you're not allowed to drive till you get this squared away. So I don't really want to just leave you in jail. What I want you to do is show up for your appropriate court date. When did you get picked up?
Last night.
What time?
About 8:30 I made it here, I think. About 8 o'clock I made it to the jail.
If I let you out of jail and give you a new date to appear, will you show up?
Yes, I will. Do I have to show up at the courthouse, or will it be over Zoom?
It will be by Zoom, although you can show up at the courthouse if you wish. We're opening
Okay.
things up. I'm gonna give you 1 day in jail credit 1 day. The underlying charge here is only no valid operator's license. It isn't the kind of thing that
Correct.
would, you're no menace to society. You're just not taking care of business.
Right.
And I tried to get a hold of you at Athens. I think I even called that number, 816-5517. I waited a week before we issued the warrant, and you just didn't do what you were supposed to do.
Correct. Like I said, my phone, it was in Bronson, and it's been off. Like I haven't had no time or anything on it.
All right,
I do
well,
have a text now app number though.
I'm going to give you this time right now. I want you to appear on August 7th at 9 a.m. If you can't sign in virtually, just come to the courthouse.
Okay.
I find you're in contempt for failing to appear for your scheduled court hearing. I'm paying for your lawyer. At least you could do is show up for court. Give you 1 day in jail credit 1 day.
All right.
You're gonna get booked out. Is somebody gonna come get you, or are you gonna be stuck out on the doorstep?
I got money on the phone from when I came in still,
All right. All right.
so I should
You
have
got it?
right.
Friday, August 7th at 9 a.m. And you need to talk to your lawyer, Mr. George. It's a no ops charge that we ought to be able to resolve. All right, the mailing address I'm going to use is that Athens address. You said you had a new phone?
Yeah.
All right, what's that?
535 17 98 98. Yeah, 98. Yeah.
All right. All right, Storm, you're going to get out of jail. I will see you either virtually or live in person on August 7th at 9 o'clock. I want you to call your lawyer.
Okay.
I'm going to send a notice to your mailing address. All right, 1 day jail credit, 1 day for contempt. All right, you're good to go.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Keith, I wasn't sure whether I even needed you for that one. I was just going to let him out of jail, but this next one may have a little more to it.
Okay. Is it also a, I'm trying to find it here.
There you go, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Clark. This is Judge Middleton here at the court in Centerville. This is file 2012SM. Also, I asked to join us the Chief Public Defender, Keith Stickley. What do you got on your shirt? The Brooklyn Bridge?
Yes, sir.
All right. Somebody sell it to you?
No, I got it at Myers.
Okay. All right. Mr. Clark, you failed to appear for a domestic violence sentence. Let's back up. Back in January of 2020, you allegedly assaulted your girlfriend, Kayla Crippen, who is somebody that I know, and you were charged with interfering with a crime report and domestic violence. And you failed to appear a couple of times. You had a bond violation back in January of 20. I gave you 1 day in jail for contempt. Then we had a pretrial and you didn't show up back in February of 20. We did a bench warrant and you got arrested in July of 20. And I let you out of jail again. You told me you were still in Coldwater. So that's a second day in jail. I let you out in June of 20. All right, then you posted bond. Oh, you pled guilty to domestic violence on June 10th of 2020. And I wanted to get input from Ms. Crippen, so we set the matter for sentencing for June 22nd. All right, I let you out of jail. That was one, I guess that would be. Anyway, you failed to appear for sentence on June 22nd. I gave you a PR bond. So I issued another bench warrant for your arrest in June of 2020, and you just got arrested. So let me ask you a couple questions. When did you get arrested?
I got arrested yesterday morning,
Where at?
Sunday morning, right
Where?
on going back to the Grange, right on the Howard-Sturgis border.
All right, got arrested in Sturgis. I've been on vacation. When I come in every morning, one of the first things I do is turn on the computer and I log into the jail roster and see who's there. And I saw you'd been picked up. So I figured I'd be seeing you later this morning. Are you still at the Cosmeric Road address in Coldwater?
No, I gotta change it. Like I just recently moved to Mountain Street in the Grange, 220 Mountain Street, apartment 22.
All right.
Just recently, like 5 days ago. And I have court in the Grange today at 2:30.
What's apartment 22?
Yes, sir.
What do you have in LaGrange?
It's for RNO for some stupid shit.
Okay, and we're on YouTube.
Sorry.
We're trying to.
Sorry. Stupid crap.
Yeah.
But
All right. Well,
So
go ahead.
honestly, I would have came if I knew that this was still a thing, because I'm not trying to get in any more trouble than I already am. You know what I mean? I
Well,
didn't get no papers or anything because my dad's been keeping me in check.
I let you out of jail on a PR bond. I told you just like this, you got to be here on a certain date. You told me your address was Cosmeric Road, so I sent the notice. I told you eyeball to eyeball what day you were supposed to be here for sentence. And you didn't show up. And then you never showed up ever again till you got arrested. So you're not going to make your LaGrange County hearing today. I want to hear from Ms. Kazmarek. One option is to set this about 90 days from now, like Halloween time. And you can sit there for 90 days. Or another is to try to get Ms. Crippen here. I think she's still where she was living over there off Null Road. So I'm going to cancel your bond. We'll contact LaGrange County and tell them that you're here. I'm going to set this for sentence Thursday morning, July 29 at 9:30. This was a felony reduced to a misdemeanor, a 1-year misdemeanor reduced to a misdemeanor. We're talking deferral, but that's not probably going to happen. I don't know. But I want to hear from her. I want to give her an opportunity to be here. She was here the last time and you weren't. So I'm going to hold on to you. And Thursday is the soonest I can do it. I had the public defender here to argue perhaps for bond, but in light of the fact you've got another criminal charge pending, and you pimped me twice on appearing, and I let you out both times. So I'm holding on to you, but the best I'm gonna do is I'm gonna not hold on to you for very long. So I'll see you Thursday morning at 9:30, and we need the prosecutor to notify the victim. All right, you're good to go.
How can so I can't ask him to, or when would I be able to find out if I can have a bond?
You just did, you're not getting one. I let you out on a PR bond a year ago, and you paid me back by doing nothing and never showing up until you got picked up on something else. Plus, you got charged with a new crime in another state. All right, I'll see you Thursday morning. All right, thank you, Keith. Good morning, John.
Hello, Judge.
Your client is here.
He was going to be with Stoney, I believe, or
Stoney is here with us. Do you need to talk to Jerry privately? I can have him go in the conference room.
I really think we're ready to go.
All right. Let me take these two Polycom files out. I haven't got the prosecutor yet. I have someone, Terry Hilton, who's logging in. I'm not sure who that is. So Mr. Crummell is here with his advisor from the VA, and I'll be back in just a second.
You know, there's thousands and thousands of people that watch Judge Middleton every day on YouTube. I'm not kidding. Yeah, he's like a YouTube sensation all over the world.
I didn't make things
Crazy good. Oh, Yancy? Yeah.
Katie. Katie was nice people. 18 months in Korea. My brother spent 2 years in Vietnam. He's in the VA hospital. Well, that hospital is never called home for veterans. He goes, I wish I would have I used to deal
Well, I lost Terry Hilton, whoever that was.
Your
Do
Honor,
not.
it may be a different Terry Hilton, but I have a landlord tenant with her scheduled for this afternoon.
That may be, maybe she was practicing.
I'm not sure. That's my 2:30 or 2:15.
Mr. Crummell, why don't you come over here and have a seat? It's the jail.
Can
No, he has to be an attorney to.
I'll wait right here.
Sit there with you.
Okay.
But you
What
sit
about
on this side right over here.
Just table right here, sir?
Yes, sir.
Hello,
You got a
Jerry.
wide-
I'm here.
Good morning, John. How are you doing?
I'm
well,
gonna
thank
wide view out to see if I can include you in the picture.
Oh, Lordy.
Good morning, sir. What's your name?
Jacob Cowan.
All right. You're wanted in Judge Pattison's courtroom. So, they've logged you in on the wrong side. So, I'm gonna remove you and have the bailiff log into Judge Pattison's side.
Okay.
All right, I'll be in the meantime trying to do this. This is, I guess, what we call a hybrid. All right, there's Mr. Crummell. I have not yet turned on the record, but I'm gonna inquire of the prosecutor. This is file 211252. It's entitled People versus Jerry Dale Crummell. Mr. Crummell is present here at the courthouse. He's seated here in the courtroom with me. We are on the record. We are on the YouTube and Zoom platform. I would also note that Stoney Summy, our St. Joe County VA advocate, is here as a support person for Mr. Crummell. I'm concerned the prosecutor isn't here, and I haven't received any additional victim input in this case. This matter started as a felonious assault, which is a 4-year felony, and possession of a firearm in the commission of a felony, which carries a mandatory 2-year prison sentence. There was a gun involved, and the gun was discharged. The prosecutor reduced the matter to a domestic violence charge, but there was a lot of consequence here. I asked the matter to be set for sentencing today. I got the police report, and I asked for some victim input. I didn't get any. I was hopeful that the complainant was going to be here, but I don't even have the prosecutor. So let me see what I can find out here.
Thank you.
I do have the victim impact statement. She isn't here, and all right, I'm not sure what's going on, but this is the appointed time. Mr. Como pled to pled to a domestic violence charge. The matter was set for sentencing today. The complaining witness, Diane Crummell, was unsure that night whether to proceed, but charges were brought. The defendant was arrested at his place of employment in Bell Creek, taken to jail, posted a bond. I amended the bond to allow Mr. Crummell to go to the premises and take care of some garden and some animals. But otherwise, there's no contact provision in place. Mr. Crummell, you have Mr. Bush as your lawyer here. Mr. Bush, what would you like me to know?
Thank you, Judge. Jerry has been probably one of the most proactive clients that I've dealt with in quite some time. He brings some unique set of facts to this case. First of all, he's 75 years old and still full-time employed. He's a truck driver. He's had the same employment for 28 years. A lot happened that led up to this. I think everybody would say Jerry and his wife did not have the strongest of marriages. There had been a separation. Nevertheless, they were back together. Jerry talks about just going over the deep end and being overwhelmed when I talked to him. Not trying to place blame. I mean, he did actions, but I think a lot had to do with the victim in this case, Diane's daughter moving in, and then Diane's daughter's boyfriend moving in, Diane's daughter's boyfriend's dog all moving into the house, which it did a lot to throw the equilibrium off that was going on. Jerry has been proactive. He's reached out to the VA for services. I know he's involved in counseling. I assume we'll get an update this morning on how many sessions he's been to and what's been accomplished with those services. There was a firearm involved. In my opinion, it was probably more a potential suicidal act than an assaultive act. More often than one, he just told me how overwhelmed he was and how he just couldn't handle the stress of what was going on. As I'm here at sentencing, I can't tell the court what's going to happen. I do believe that the clients have followed all the rules and have stayed apart. I don't believe there's been any side conversations. I don't believe they've been living together or having any communication. I know Jerry finds out what's going on in the neighborhood and was concerned about the animals and was concerned about taking care of the house. I do believe that, I don't know if it's permanently or temporarily, that Diane, the victim in this case, has gone out west. And I'm not sure if she is or isn't coming back or what her plans are. Maybe through third parties, Jerry can update the court on what he's learned. I do believe, I think he's actually eligible for a spousal abuse act deferral. He's involved in services now, and I would ask the court to give him that opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Bush. Mr. Crummell, what would you like me to know? You can just look at me.
It's just, I don't know really what happened because I just went over the edge, or I don't know what the word to use for, just snapped, you know what I'm saying? My wife and I love each other a lot, and she went out west to take care of her daughter because her daughter having health problems, and her daughter's has a baby at 7 months old. I let my wife go out there to take care of her.
When you say west, where is that?
Nevada.
Okay.
Arizona, Nevada, one's on, I think it's Nevada. I got her address, but I don't got it with me right now. But we've been out there 2 or 3 times seeing Kaylee. That's her daughter. Well, Kaylee called up, said she's having real health issues and she needs help with her 7-month-old baby. I says, this is before I exploded, you know what I'm saying? And I said, well, just go out there and take care of your daughter and we'll handle it when you get back. Well, make a long story short, all this she had, when she came back from out west last year, she was gone for like 9 months, okay? Taking care of her daughter and stuff. It wasn't because of we were fighting or nothing. But when she came back, we was going through I had a lot of pressure on me. She was gone for like 9 months, and I had my 2 nieces helping, you know, kind of helping me, but it ain't what the kind of help I needed. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be with my wife. All I wanted was my wife back. The COVID came, that was 1.5 years ago, and she couldn't get across the border because of the COVID, and she had to spend a hotel. If she went to a hotel, she'd have to stay there for 14 days in quarantine. Well, she kept giving me excuses. My nieces and my 2 nieces, which were supposed to be helping me, but they wanted me to get a divorce from her because of she's lying to me. My wife never lies to me. She never cheated on me. I never cheated on my wife. But to make a long story short, I had attorney. What's her name? Oh man, I paid $3,000. Manita. She was representing my wife and I.
Manita Sharma.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was a nightmare. You know what I'm saying? All I wanted was my wife back, and she wanted to come back, you know, and they were putting pressure on her. Well, we need your bank of records and all this stuff. And it was, make a long story short, that was building up inside me. My wife came, I don't want a divorce. I want my wife back.
You had started one at one point and then dropped it.
Yeah. And my wife did one. They served her papers, which she didn't even expect it. You know what I'm saying? And she really was upset. All I want is my stuff in my car. That was the whole big thing. Well, baby doll, all I want is you to help our relationship, you know. We love each other a lot. And then she came home in September, I think it was, and she brought her daughter, the other daughter, Mindy, And I said, yeah, she can stay here. She can help you while I work. I work 42 hours a week at R&L for 28 years. Well, she came and she started taking over, like bringing her boyfriend, bringing her grandkids, without asking, you know what I'm saying? Before you know it, her boyfriend's coming there 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. We don't like drugs. We don't smoke or nothing, in the house. Well, she started bringing her boyfriend. Diane wouldn't let him smoke in the house. You can go outside and smoke it out there in the yard or on the porch, you know what I'm saying? Well, one thing led to another, and things started building up, and she's bringing him in. He'll come at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. One day he came in and just went to the refrigerator, grabbed something out of the refrigerator and walked, didn't say hi, just goes down the hallway like he lived there. You know what I'm saying? And then my wife says, I'll take care of it. Well, then Mindy brought her dog, German Shepherd, which one of her dogs took the eye out of her dog. Cost me $700 to get the dog fixed. Well, Yorkie took his eye out. That was several years ago. But we never got that stuff solved, And I stayed out to Tammy's house because Manita says you take your trailer and go out and stay out there. Well, I was out there for 9 months for no reason. Diane was in Nevada, you know what I'm saying? And them girls were helping me pack her stuff up, which I did, I don't know what. We been together for 18 years. And we finally got married in August is our 5th anniversary. And her and I couldn't talk about these problems because we had argued, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to argue with her, but I kept building it inside. And all of a sudden, I told her the day before this all happened, I'm going to take the camper out and back. That's where you like it, out on the property. And we was arguing, and I said, well, I'm taking the camper. And I got in my truck, trying to get away from the argument. It was about her daughter stealing stuff. And I don't know why the other lady ain't there, because my wife wrote her a letter about Mindy. She finally kicked Mindy out. I don't know, a week, 2 weeks ago or something. I don't know. Katie, I relate with Katie Lukeman, good friend of our neighbor, and Chris is a good neighbor. They've been helping mowing my grass and stuff like this, helping me. And I've been staying down Parchment with my cousin in my trailer, living there because I'm not allowed on the property. I'm not allowed to talk to her and stuff.
Well, if she wasn't on the property, I would have amended it to let you back in there. But let's talk about.
That's what Katie said too, but my lawyer never told me I could go back.
We're beating around the bush.
What's that?
We're beating around the bush.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm talking too much.
Well, that's okay. I'm willing to listen to what you say, but.
Everything built up.
Victim stated during the argument on the porch of the residence, the subject shoved her to the ground, and then he retrieved a handgun from his vehicle and pointed it in her face. The suspect then threatened to kill her and himself. The suspect again threw the victim to the ground in the garage of the residence and stood on her chest while pointing the handgun in her face.
I don't remember that.
The suspect also kicked the victim in the side and chest. The suspect then fired the handgun in the garage. She says, he ended up going over to his car. He got in his vehicle and pulled out a handgun. He then pushed the handgun in her face, specifically in the eye area, and was putting the gun back to himself, saying he was going to shoot her and then himself. Then he shoved her down on the ground and stepped on her chest with his foot. She was trying to grab the grip of the gun and the barrel to push the gun out of her face. He was also kicking her in the chest. She also had injuries in her hand. During the incident in the garage, when he put the handgun in her face, he stated, "You're never going to see your grandbaby again." Apparently he was pointing the gun back and forth between him and himself. She had some cuts on her hand. I'm not sure from trying to get the gun back or what. Anyway, that's a big deal.
Yes, it was.
You got a gun pointed in her face. You're threatening to kill her. You're threatening to kill yourself. And then you said, well, she pushes my buttons and she made me snap. You don't get a free pass saying somebody pushed my buttons and made me snap. She called her ex-husband, who called 911, and then her daughter also.
She's never married to him. That wasn't her husband.
Well,
she's never been married.
She called some guy.
Well, that's Katie. Kaylee's dad, which lives out there. But
well, she was crying and upset, and they were upset, so they called 911. They did give her the Zoom information, but apparently she's not logged in. Now maybe she's on Arizona time. Her victim impact statement that she wrote, I'm not sure what the date of this is. It doesn't have a date on it. I miss my husband. My heart is hurting because of missing him. I'm crushed. I can't even talk to him. I know he snapped over too much pressure. COVID, my daughter lives here. Only injury is my heart because I can't see or talk to him. My husband is a hard worker and provides for his family. I've been with him for 18 years, never been scared. None of this ever happened before. She did indicate it had happened before. Please help him. Putting him in jail is not the right thing for him. I do know he was not in his right mind that day. Well, that wouldn't do us any good if she's dead and you're dead. The officer felt she had a broken rib and strongly encouraged her to go to the hospital. No records were found that the suspect had a concealed weapons license or a handgun registered to him. So
I had that registered in Kalamazoo. That's been many years ago.
I don't know. They couldn't find it. Alcohol wasn't a factor. Drugs weren't a factor. She said I asked if there are any past domestic assaults, and she described one incident where Jared put his hand around her neck. He grabbed an object and threw it and broke it. After that, Jerry stopped putting his hands around her neck, and the incident was not reported. Miss Velez is here and Mr. Stummy is here. I don't know what input either of you have. Do you wish to speak on the record here?
Yes, Your
Why
Honor.
don't you come up to the podium if you would?
Can you leave this on?
No, you can take your mask off while you're speaking. Let me zoom back a little bit. This isn't ideal, but what would you like me to know?
I just want, Jerry Crummel is, he is a military veteran. I met him shortly after this incident. I spoke with his attorney, Mr. Bush, and we immediately got him actively involved with our
our community care VA therapist, Lisa Velez. He has had multiple therapy appointments. He's made every one of them. I believe he's at 2 days a week currently to address. Jerry has admitted he has a little anger issue that probably has needed to be addressed for many, many years. And I'm sure that Ms. Velez would be able to elaborate more on that. But Jerry has been, he's also very, very interested if when this gets resolved, also continuing with his therapy with him and his wife, with Ms. Velez. Okay. Ms. Velez, is there anything you feel you could add here? Just a minute. Would you state your name for the record?
Sorry, Lisa Velez.
And what's your involvement here?
I am a therapist for Jerry Crummell. Work with the vets.
Okay.
So I've seen Jerry probably 4 times. He has been very open and honest about the situation. He did tell me that whatever happens, he would like to continue in therapy, at least individually. And if his wife would be interested, he asked if I would be interested in doing them as a couple, which I said I would do. He's, like I said, made all the appointments, been very timely, hasn't denied anything. So that's where we are today.
Well, those are all positives. Were you aware he put a gun in her face and threatened to kill her?
I knew that there was a gun and I knew that it had been shot. I didn't hear specifically that he put it in her face.
All right, but he did go on his own and seek out the resources that the VA has, so he's to be commended for that. All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Wish more people would do that. We've got a wonderful array of VA resources here in St. Joe County, and we've got really a need for that service. So that's where I am. I'm very discouraged that the prosecutor isn't here to offer any additional input. They made this plea agreement where they dismissed the felonious assault felony firearm charge. If we had had a trial, there's a high likelihood you would have been convicted. And that charge carries a mandatory minimum 2-year prison sentence. No discretion, no good time, no nothing. 2 years preceding and consecutive to any other sentence. So they dismissed that and the felonious assault charge. I'm always concerned about death threats.
That's why I'm getting therapy. I hope that, I'm talking out of turn. I'm sorry.
Well, you have a right to talk, but I can't undo what you did.
No.
What if you had shot her? What if you shot her in the head and said, well, gee, I snapped. I'm going to get some therapy now and try to make it better. You were talking about how she pushed your buttons. This isn't her fault. This is on you. She knocked the grill off the deck, which really precipitated this angry outburst. But you probably broke her rib. You threatened her with the grandchild. And on 2 occasions, you put a gun right in her face.
That wasn't me. I don't know how it happened.
Well, it was you. And almost every year, we have several domestic homicides. I was the prosecutor for a long time, and now I've been here more than 40 years. And every year I was prosecutor, I would be amazed by some people I never heard of, didn't know anything about, law-abiding, never been in any trouble, no drugs, no alcohol. And then something like this happens. And on a number of occasions, something like this is a murder-suicide. I can probably name about 12 off the top of my head. So I have no prosecutor input. The victim is sympathetic. has moved. You've got VA support. And you're eligible for the deferral. So I guess I'll just take the prosecutor's silence as acquiescence. The victim was given the connecting information according to the victim advocate at the prosecutor's office. She does a fine job and apparently chose not to be here unless she's on Arizona time or something, but she isn't here now. I'm not sure how long you were in jail before you bonded out.
2 days.
That's what I thought.
My wife bailed me out.
Yes. 92 days. Credit 2. I'm gonna defer 90 days. Hanging it over your head for your participation and cooperation with this probation. You're put on probation for 24 months. Could be discharged at the end of 12 months. There's no fine. There's a $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee, $150 attorney fee, $960 probation oversight fee, which could be reduced by $480 if you do this in 1 year. And I believe the $640 is the class. I'm putting you in the full domestic violence class. Virtual. You're gonna have to figure out how to do things online. Continue to cooperate with the VA.
These fines, can I pay for them? When can I pay for them, or I have to pay?
You got
every
2
month?
years to pay them.
Uh,
We'll stretch it out. If you pay it within a year, it'll save you $480. But the key component of this is you need to participate in the domestic violence treatment program, which is a
That's no
26-week class. And you're actually eligible for a deferral.
what's that mean?
It means the charge will be taken off your record if you complete this probation. That's $1,875. Firearm is forfeited. She did give her victim impact statement. You've got this strange relationship where you're together but you're not together. I've lifted the no contact provision. You can move back into your house.
Thank you.
You can correspond with her. You can move in with her, but you can't engage in any assaultive or threatening behavior. You're not to use any alcohol or any controlled substance. In this case, that's easy because alcohol or controlled substance aren't an issue. But to say I snapped isn't a good enough answer and say, well, I take it all back. Someone could have been killed here. But we'll try this. And if it doesn't work, I've got 90 days of jail hanging over your head. What I want you to do now is go downstairs to the probation department.
Okay.
You're here. Now, I want you to continue with your counseling with Ms. Velez and any other services the VA is providing, but I want you to do my course also.
Can I still keep my job?
Yes. You're old enough that you can draw your full Social Security and work.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
All right, well, that makes sense. I don't talk to many 75-year-olds that are still working full-time.
They love me at work, I know that, they just,
Well, they wouldn't like you if you were in jail for 90 days, so I want you to comply with the terms of this probation.
Right.
All right, let's take this form, just like the old days.
so,
And take that downstairs to the probation department. They're getting you plugged into how to do this. You're gonna have to do it by video. So you're gonna have to get some accommodation for that.
yeah, maybe.
All right. Do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Bush, you have anything to add?
Your Honor, I think this is a good resolution. I think Jerry will be a good probationer.
I hope so.
I will.
All right, you're free to go.
Can I, who do I pay if I have?
They'll tell you about
claims?
that downstairs at the
Oh,
probation department. You'll pay it here at the counter. You can pay monthly or pay it all at once, but they'll tell you about that.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right, you're good to go.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dean.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Stoney, for your help.
Yes.
John, thank you very much, sir. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Yeah, I can hear you. All right, you're free to go.
The DA office, Your Honor, was very, very proactive, helpful in this case.
Yes, that's one of the reasons he's not going to jail. All right, you're good to go, Mr. Cohen.
Thank you very much,
Jerry, you
Jerry.
got a bunch of change on the chair there.
John, I think you're off the hook. I've got another case with James Warmack that's set for sentencing today, and he's not here.
We're going to visit this afternoon. Thank you, Judge.
All right, I'll see you in landlord-tenant court. All right, we have another matter we're gonna address here, which is people versus James Leroy Warmack, set for sentencing today on a no ops, driving suspended. He was given time to pay additional fines, $543. As far as I can tell, he hasn't paid anything. And he's not here. I'm gonna do a bench warrant. Bond, $543, cash only. Or see judge. Hold 48 hours. Well, that's a disappointment also. The world is full of disappointment. All right, that completes our docket for this morning. As Mr. Bush indicated, we have some landlord-tenant cases and some civil matters and a couple of small claims trials this afternoon. So we're going to be busy starting at 1:15. And the